from Gainesville nights where the lights burn bright. Swamp shake heavy when the paths collide. 25 champs and we still outside. Net cut down, but we hungry inside. Hardwood kings with the fast break glow. XC heat and we run that show. Golden built that pressure zone. Orange wave make the whole place blow. Oh, orange, blue, Gators breaking through. Swamp roll out, that's what we do. Chomp, chomp, bite down, they're through. Whole crowd shaking when we aim at you. Orange, blue, stand up with the crew. 4 fingers up when we hit you too. Chomp, 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 Gator coming through. Gator, swamp roll out, that's what we do. Who you with? Gator, say it proud. Make them feel it. Gator, like the whole crowd. Oh, Gator, say it proud.
Welcome to the Lowdown with Loren Meadows, a Sidelines Live production. I'm your host, Loren Meadows of GatorBaitMedia.com with the best shoe game in the Gator media. And tonight we come to you with our monthly installment of What's Got Troupe Trippin' with Gator great and host of 84 Reasons podcast, Ben Troupe, will join the program. Rob Brown of SEC Sidelines will jump in with news from the Final Four as well as college football. And our intern Lucas returns from spring break, ready to put it all in a box for us this week. Kicks of the Week returns with a simple flair, and we play a little hyper have at it with the legends of the NFL and NBA. Sidelines Live team would like to thank our sponsors, Meldon Law and Titan MRI Imaging. Subscribe to the Lowdown with Loren Meadows on YouTube and Facebook, as well as our partner shows on the Sidelines Live network, including the Buddy Martin Show, SEC Sidelines, and Scarborough Knows. And follow yours truly on Instagram at Ohio Gator for Life and X at Real Ohio Gator. Let's get to it. How's everybody doing? Bring in the fellas, bring in my man, Ben Troupe. What's going on, Ben?
Hey, Loren, always good to be in your presence, sir. Man, it's always good to be on with Loren. Those doing big things in the media world, man. It's always good to be with you.
Man, trying to. And we got Rob Brown of SEC Sidelines. What's going on, Rob?
I'm just wishing it was last year for SEC basketball. Ben and I both do. But football, we got baseball, like you said, softball, track. So we got a lot to be proud about.
No doubt. And super producer Brendan Martin coming with the theme music. What's up, B?
I mean, whatever you need, bro, I'm here.
I appreciate it, man. So a little news before we get to What's Got Troupe Trippin', just to kind of fill the folks in. The 7'9" player, Florida, gigantor extraordinaire, Olivier Ryu is going to be leaving the University of Florida to pursue interests elsewhere. Arizona State has been mentioned, as well as I think Illinois, some schools like that. So, I was looking forward to seeing Ollie blossom and maybe, grow into something here. But maybe that lends itself to the fact that maybe some guys are coming back to school. I thought his minutes would open up because, you thought that Condon and Chinyelu, and if Hanlogden doesn't get that 6 year or what might be, what have you, then, there might have been some minutes there, and I thought he could develop into a player. But sorry to see him go, but that's the nature of the business now. Guys jumping and moving, looking for opportunities. So best wishes. Conducted himself like a gentleman when he was here at Florida, always willing to take a picture, things like that. Always had fun with the folks. I know a couple young ladies who, the world always isn't nice to folks, man, unfortunately. But he was always nice. And so, no doubt. So definitely, appreciate his time. And, a lot of guys say no to those pictures and different things like that. But he was always tapped in. So, shout out and good luck to Ollie for sure. Ben, it's that time. Every month we do this. Let's hit on in. So here we go. Get to it. What's got Troupe tripping?
Man, what's got me tripping right now was us being in this media space. I mean, here's the thing, Loren, you talking about what the Cam Newtons of the world and the Ryan Clarks of the world. What I don't like to see is family feuding in public. When Cam Newton says something that I want to push back on, I do not know Cam. I would love to get some of Cam Newton hats, though. Cam, if you want to give me some of them Masikas or whatever, I will get them for free. I'm not paying for them. Anyway, he said there is no loyalty when it comes to this business. BS. Yes, it is. Right. And I think what happens is if we get to a point where there are no lines, like there are no guardrails. I don't care who Loren Meadows have a problem with. I can't wait to get him on my platform so I can get dirt. I don't care who Rob Brown got beef with. I can't wait to get him there. I don't care who Brendan. I think when we start doing that, that means that money.
You got to care about your producer, though. I mean,
I'm just saying, when Cam said that, I push back on it hard for this reason. Sometimes the only reason you're going to get an opportunity is because who know you. Sometimes you're only going to get an opportunity because of your reputation. And you mean to tell me because you can't say on one end, I don't care about going viral. Well, that's exactly what you care about doing. I happen to be a person that cares about the fact that, look, there's so many people that help you get to where you got, help you do what you do, and help you remain where you remain. I will never, ever be – money is not that important. You know, back in the day, there was a song that said bands to make her dance. He ain't just talking about women. I'm telling you, he is not just talking about the ladies. And I think for a person like myself, I can only show appreciation to the people that help me do what I do and keep me doing what I'm doing. There's never going to be about, hey, man, you got some dirt on Rob Brown. Man, come on the platform. You got some dirt on Brendan and Buddy and Loren. Stop the cut the thing. If you never seen an episode of mine, you're going to see the one when I'm trying to slander you. You're going to sit there and go, what? He going to do that? We only get so many opportunities in a business like this. The last thing you want to do is burn those bridges because, Cam, let me say this. You really, really talented. You ain't the only one. You're really, really good at what you do. You're not the only one. And you don't want to get known for the nonsense because then when you make sense, no one's going to hear it. No one's going to want to hear when you're trying to make sense because I don't know Jason Whitlock. I know of him. But if I need Jason Whitlock to get clicks, I done traveled down the wrong road a long way. And this is no shade to him. He do what he do. But, hey, man, sometimes you know by the company you keep. Sometimes you give it through affiliation. All I'm saying is if you don't want to be affiliated with him, don't be offering him your platform. Just my 2 cents, Cam. If you don't like it, you can always come on 84 Reasons. Once a Gator, always a Gator, homeboy. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. But I don't do stuff like that. Look, we pay bills out here. We got kids out here. We paying taxes, and hopefully one day we can get regular gas prices. That's not happening right now, but I'm looking for a Kia right now or a smart car. That's the only car I can afford for this gas right here.
Right. Well, somebody who drives 2,000 miles a month, bruh, trust me, the mileage we getting ain't worth the click. But, you know, it's funny, man. Me and Rob kind of tapped in on this last week a little bit, and I got his opinion. But it's funny that you brought this up because I do think it's at the forefront. And you know me, I don't get into – we try to keep it apolitical on here. We really try to keep from being messy on here. But a couple things kind of grip me the last few weeks. And one is this whole thing about if you can't relate, you can't debate. And, you know, my thing has always been, you know, busting chops is busting chops. You know, I went to school of 3,500 people and played in front of about 500. You played in front of 65, 70,000. But at the end of the day, it's still all football. We still participated. We still played at the next level. But it is these things where now you have to prove. The only way that someone will lend credence to what you say or don't say, you have to prove yourself. You have to give your resume like every day. And that's one thing. The other thing I don't like, and like I said, I try to keep it apolitical, but we in this business have to understand who's watching us and who's looking for ammo. And when they see certain people bickering back and forth, not getting along, you know, using each other for what you might call clicks, it's just messy. And what it does, you know, it sheds a bad light on this space, you know, this space that some of us got into because we truly just love the game, love talking to people, getting the opportunity. You know, I mean, you know, I would have never thought I was going to be on here with a Ben Troupe or with a Rob Brown and people that know people. And some of the people I've been able to be on as guests on shows where I'm sitting down with, you know, I'm with a Tony Barnhart and I'm a guest with Tony Barnhart. I'm like, man, or you know, you jump on and it's just, you know, you get a number of Steve Russells, the people that are giants in this business. And it's like, for what if you got to go down this road? And what I would tell those people is they all got great content. We got great content on this show. But I will never dog, I got my opinions on people, but I will never come on this show and give an opinion about somebody that might disrupt what they're trying to do, and then ultimately might disrupt some of these young kids' brand where they might get in trouble or things like that. I stay away from that because, like you said, that's someone's son, that's someone's daughter. They got parents and things like that. And the big assumption is when we do those things, I think you're making a reflection on mom and dad when the kid is the one that makes the mistake. The mom and daddy wasn't out there drunk driving. He or she was. They wasn't fighting. He or she was. But it's the assumption that they've been raised that way. They know how to, they know how to work. They know how to operate and things like that. So I'm with you, Ben. It's funny. Like I said, last week we kind of talked about it in the vein of if you can't relate, you can't debate, which I think is an easy way to get out of a great argument, if you know what I mean. But then when you look at it from the standpoint of it's just getting messy right now at what I call the highest levels. I mean, we trying to get there maybe, but we're a collective that fits a certain group. People want to come on and hear about the Gators, talk about the Gators, or talk about the world around the Gators, but there are some people that I admire. It's hard to say I admire Cam because I'm so much older, but I admire his hustle. I admire Ryan Clark. I was a big Stephen A. Smith fan. Me and Stephen A., we having a tough time right now. Never been a Whitlock fan. He probably don't care. We both from the Midwest, so we had that in common. And I do think when he's a good writer and has good stuff. But Rob, I think it just, man, we because it's so accessible now, it's starting to get off the rails a little bit because everybody can jump on and put their money into it and things like that and get a platform. And there is somebody that'll listen.
Well, Brendan and I talk about it all the time. There's a bunch of clickbait people out there, and they're just they'll say anything to get clicks. My motto, stay out of politics, stay in production. At work, on the show, everything. Right and wrong, I'll tell you what I think about something, but in political, it's just me saying it. But I don't know what happened with Cam, but I know a lot of people that deal with him, fundraisers and things, and man, he is like run through a wall if you ask him to come raise money for some good cause. And I was down there at the Auburn, Georgia game when he was inducted. They retired his number that night. He had all of his kids there, and I mean, he was very, effusive in his praise of his teammates. I liked that. He talked about all the backups and the people in the quarterback room and the linemen. He named off 8 guys like that. Just said, "Look, what I did, I was part of it." So that's a good sign of maturity, Ben. I mean, that is I talk about you a lot, Ben. I tell people. Ben, I was with a friend of mine who played at Arkansas. We had lunch last Friday. He played for Lou Holtz. And we were talking about you, and I said, Ben was 17. He watches you on the show a lot. 17 years old. Hell, I was 19 when I was a freshman. I mean, this 2 years is a big difference, Ben. And you didn't know anybody in Gainesville, Florida, did you? You had to grow up fast. And you are as loyal, and the thing you talk about all the time, with your teammates when you go back, it's the guys on the scout team, the guys that pushed you, and you kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Finally, your time came. Weren't you the 39th or 40th pick in the draft?
I was a 40th overall pick in 2004. And the farther away I get away from football, I understand who the truly important players were. I get the players who get the most ink in the paper, who get the most, views when you talk about social media now, or back when we doing it with Sports Center. But it goes back to Zephyr and Augustine. I mean, we called him Zep, and it's so many years later. This is way past my playing days, and I just happened to be living in Tampa at the time, and I just happened to drop in. This is back when Urban Meyer was there, and I saw Cam Newton. I mean, I'm looking at Tim Tebow, and I see this dude behind him. I'm like, who's number 13? Like, who's that? And Zep just happened to be there, and he was with his wife, and he was like, he comes up to me, and he said, he tells his wife, he said, this is Ben. This is when I used to get ready, every week for the games. And, what I appreciated about that moment was I could have really made that moment really, really awkward if I would have said something arrogant ego-driven, but that is what he did. Now, me and Zep, now if you would have, they got cameras now, you would have put the cameras on me and Zep, man. You talk about, fighting every day. I used to tell Zep coming on the field, man, not today. He said, yeah, well, you might as well get ready. Because in his mind, I don't know what Ron Zook is telling him compared to what he's telling me.
Yeah.
And who am I to tell him to lay off some because I'm tired? Nope. He like, look, man, this is my Saturday. I'm not getting out there this weekend. There go Corey Bailey, there go Gus Scott, there go Daryl Dixon. I'm not playing on Saturday. I'm a walk-on. So, yeah, I mean, it's easy to give credit to the guys. Look, the three most important guys on the football field is not the quarterback and the center. It is the long snapper, it is the kicker, and it's the punter. Let them get hurt. You want to see chaos? Because I'm a long snapper. Here's the thing, right? Hey, sure, we need you to go out there and do the long snap. And I said, y'all serious about this? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to do it because I'm a team player. But let me have you say something. If the long snapper is on the ground going, they're like this, true. It's officially, you can read my lips, it's about to get ugly out here. Because I got to look at it. They almost blocked the kicks with a good long snapper. What you think would happen with me? So I understand that I was always told it's the same way your teammates talk about you, you need to talk about them. Because if I went to school with Tim Tebow, which I didn't, who you think everybody gonna ask me about? I went to school with Rex Grossman and Alex Brown and Gerard Warren and Riche Caldwell and Jabbar Gaffney. So when I get to talk about my former teammates, man, I tell them, look, man, I know you know about Jabbo, but what about this dude or what about that dude? Because I won the SEC championship in 2000. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I didn't get no burn in the game, but I knew that when that SEC champion picture, I almost made it in it. Like I'm almost to the left. You kind of see my hand kind of like this. I was supposed to be right there in the center because it's something somebody say, hey, Ben, you still got your SEC championship ring? I'm a champion without it. Like if I never wear it, which I don't know where it is, it's those little moments that get. Cam Newton did what he's supposed to do. Cam said, when they honor me, I'm gonna honor them because ain't nobody else gonna talk about them. And think about if I'm there as a backup on that team and Cam mentions my name. I'm sitting there with my family, just like he's there with his family. And Ben Hartsock is a former teammate of mine that I had with the Titans. I hated Ben Hartsock, not because we played the same position and got the same first name, but because I was hurt and he wasn't, and he was playing and I wasn't. But having them conversation with him in the meeting room and him giving me a perspective of what he's there for and what I'm there for, I put him in my book. Not because I had to, because that's how I honor him. To me, he was like, hey, true, man, I grew up on a farm in Ohio. I'm like, they got farms in Ohio? Like, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
And
not far from where I grew up, actually.
He started right in on that 2001 Ohio State team that beat Miami. So, yeah, it's easy to do because everybody it's easy to talk about the best players. But what makes the best players is the players that push them. It's the players that, so, yeah, I give – listen, love Cam Newton. I don't want to make it seem like I'm coming at Cam, but what I will say is this. You got to be – if you talk for a living, as my granddaddy would say, you got to make sure you can pull your foot out your mouth because you're gonna put it in your mouth sometimes. You want to make sure you can pull it out. If you say the wrong thing, then everybody asks you about that. Not what you're doing, not what you said, but when you did this, and yeah, we live in a viral world. I don't want to be known for the wrong things, man. And I'm not telling Cam how to run his business, as you mentioned, Loren, 4th and 1 and all these different things he's killing it. But when you get to talking about there is no loyalty, your producers can hear that. And I'm talking about your big ones. I ain't talking about Peggy. I ain't talking about him. I want to make my money just like anybody else, but all money ain't good money, man. And just because, I'm making good money doesn't justify how I got it. So Cam, be careful out there because Cam say if you can't relate, you can't debate, you didn't jump on that football, man. And that is not your legacy. But the same people can't debate you because they didn't play. You ain't tell. Why don't you tell Stephen A. Smith that? You don't tell him that. Why don't you tell, I'm never going to do that only because Man, it ain't criticism. It's just feedback, man. People telling me about something I did or didn't do, but guess what? I still got to do it. I'm never as good as they say I am. I'm never as bad as I say I am. I just did the best I could with the time I had, with the teammates that I had. And like I say, man, and if you a Georgia fan out there, I beat you twice with Ron Zook as my head coach. You have nothing to say to me. You have nothing to say to me. I don't care how you feel. I'm going to beat you with Spurrier. I beat you with Zook too, twice.
Right.
So all I'm saying is, when Georgia fans, I have to let I live in Georgia. These Georgia fans be letting me know y'all greatest player name is Stetson. I know y'all got Herschel. Stetson did it twice. Stetson is a hat. Stetson is a fragrance. It's a horse or whatever it is. Anyway, I just had to make sure them Georgia fans know that congratulations on them back-to-back national championships. And what about basketball? What about baseball? What about? Oh, that's right. They can only win in the football. I'm sorry, Dominique Wilkins Jr. Maybe he can go to. Oh, that's right. Dominique didn't win it when he was there either. So y'all don't know about that. Oh, sorry. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's shots fired for real, Brendan. Real quick, you've been in this space, and as we move through here and things like that, but you kind of seen it evolve. As far as as this space continues to evolve. Your thoughts on just lot more former players and it's almost like it's like a get back to the media that covered them and things like that. It seems like it's vindictive from a standpoint of we're gonna say it our way now, and everybody's not doing that, but it's a lot of that. And the question would be, does this type of content have staying power, particularly when the two entities start going at one another?
Well, I think it's really funny you should ask this question on a particular day like today. I'll share with you a small little anecdote, which is perfect for this situation. I walked off to drop off my lunch, or my daughter's lunch at school, which I do every day. I took her Chick-fil-A today at lunch, and as I got there, she's like, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" She's like, "Oh, here's your stuff." And her two friends were with her, and they're like, "Hey, you're on a show. You're on a show." I said, "Yeah, I do a show all the time." She said, "No, like an actual show." And I'm like, "Oh no, what's an actual show?" It's like a reality show. I was like, "Oh my God." 22 years ago, like, I don't know, right around now, I was on a reality show with the Hilton family, right? And a lot of that entire process was producer pressure to say things that you didn't necessarily want to say, and a way that they wanted you to say it. Now, I'm not saying that you are not responsible for what you're saying. I am no way vindicating anybody. I'm saying that sometimes when you get hot for a second, you like, and I think Ben Troupe hit the nail on the head, is like he got a little taste of some viral video. And I think the whole Shannon Sharp thing that blew up initially in like that space vaulted a lot of it. I follow a lot of that stuff. I just think the pressure was on. It's on all the time for him to come up with something, that's going to up the next thing. And I don't think that sometimes your echo chambers around you are loud, right? And I think that is somewhat to do with what we see with him. I think sometimes he's a little, he needs to, think before he speaks and realize that he has a much bigger audience than he thinks. And sometimes just flying off the cuff to maybe get some clicks or not get some clicks or whatever. I think the bigger the audience that you start to gather, you better start being cautious of what you say, because hate on the internet is uglier than you think. It gets dark pretty quick, a lot quicker than you think. And I think, and being in the business, to answer really a long-winded answer to your question, being in the business and watching it morph over the years, especially from my lens, being the son of Buddy Martin, seeing technology sort of, play a huge role in all of this stuff. Obviously, money and all of these things, what I've seen, more than anything else is like, history is cyclical. So I see like, us going, when I see Sumrall and these guys, I feel like we're going back to the way things were, sort of. And the connection to the community and the connection, that transparency I was reading the other day about transparency and honesty, and I was like, honesty is when you answer something honestly. Transparency is just transparent, right? You don't have to answer honestly because you don't. The questions are different. So I'm just saying that I feel like it's a harken back to the day. When we see a lot of this stuff, I just think it can be cyclical. I'm hopeful that the more that we go in one direction, that maybe that the shred of what we have from the past, it really is deeper rooted than we think, and that these coaches are really play a huge role in everything that happens with media, and now and beyond, as these they have an entire athletic departments are going to have production companies, movie companies, Paramount. These guys are investing in the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs, all this stuff. They are literally going to, screw having HBO and these guys come do a thing. You're going to have your own production company where you're having staff of 100 to 150 people just to cover your content. I'm sorry to go on, but that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Final answer.
Yeah, no doubt. No, and I mean, and I want to say this as a fan, first and foremost, because I wouldn't be here if I wasn't a fan. I love the voice that some of these players are having. I mean, it really, for instance, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. I mean, to see them go from where they went to where they've gone now, where you're interviewing, Obama and Kamala Harris, and I mean, really moving into a space where you're getting into some things. Heavy hitters like Dr. J, and I mean, they're starting to really grasp on to some people that are like in iconic kind of positions. They were one of the first people to have Kobe Bryant, rest his soul, and different things like that. So I love that. And I love that they're taking it serious. What I don't like, and I think this is where we go again, Ben, it's like it's like belittling the accomplishments of another. And it's like I said, you got to put your resume on display and in the view of things, right away. And that's where, it's concerning. It's concerning on a lot of levels. And like I said, I'm going to stay apolitical, but I guess I'm going to put it this way. I hate to see guys that I either have a lot of respect for go at it, or I also hate to see the ugliness of people and they, jump out there. And then it's like, man, this is really toxic. So, we live in a world where things that the negative is magnified a lot more. I just wish we could get back to the positive flow of this thing. Because I think everybody has a voice and a lot of it's positive. But like you said, Ben, we just need to be careful, man. This thing, it's a lot out there for a lot of us, but we got to be mindful that we don't lose our way. Wouldn't you say, Ben?
Well, yeah, it's not that serious. I think sometimes when it come to a former player, right? Yeah, good player, bad player, okay. Like, you chose to be on this platform because you got something to say. When you start making it personal, that's not content. You're trying to hide behind these cameras. You're trying to do things that I always say this. If you have my cell phone, call me. What's up? Because when I put it out there for public consumption, it's no longer mine. And everybody gonna eat it up. And I don't get it. I be saying to myself, all right, we can bicker, but we supposed to bicker behind the scenes. You gonna wait on the on-air button to come on, and then you gonna start trying to air me out. It's not that serious. And your has-beens. It don't matter how good you were. I don't care. You know how many Super Bowl rings I got? You know how many? Who cares? Like, you doing something right when everybody trying to come at you with your playing career. Emmanuel Acho is very, very good. You don't got to like it, but he is. He's really, really good. So good that, Landry and Leonard Fournette, y'all started a podcast to come at him. And I'm never, the reason why I'm never going to do that, because number one, it ain't that serious to me. Like, somebody, hey, Ben, I heard what you said about what? Man, I heard what you said I said, look, man, I talk about a bunch of grown men that play in the National Football League that don't care about what I say no way. Why would you hard on DJ Lagway? Because he's a semi-pro. He's not a pro. He's making money. So this man comes out and says, hey, man, I was depressed when I was at Florida. He was. That's not a lie. You know, only one person can tell you about what it's like to play quarterback at Florida, and that would be Rex Grossman. That would be, Felipe Franks. And when I came out and said, hey, man, everybody wants an athlete to be transparent until you too transparent, and then they're like, oh, he's making excuses. Is he? Is he making excuses? I don't think he was making excuses at all.
Right. And and that's a good point, Ben. I want to give a shout out to my little niece, Winter English. She on her way back from the baseball game, her and her dad, Brent. What's up, Winter? I gotta give her a shout out, man. She's listening on the radio. So see you soon, Winter. But anyway, let's move. And like I said, this is key because once again, you look at the analysis of things and comments and things like that. And DJ Lagway did come out and say, I felt disconnected. I was depressed. I was all these things. And to me, it's less about DJ Lagway making excuses because I think that's real, Rob. What I have a problem with, and I keep saying it, and it's like nobody gets it. Once again, blame the adults. The only reason he was sequestered is either somebody, the coaches, his family, the people around him, the adults were like, no, you can't go on campus. No, you can't walk around and be seen. No, you have to sequester yourself. No, you can't sit in class, which I don't understand. When I saw that, I was like, that ain't on him. It's not him making an excuse. It's the fact that he came in here, they decided we're going to put him off. And, Graham Mertz might have been in the same boat, but he was a lot more mature. He was a lot more developed. Lagway, young kid, out of the mix. And I'm sure it did affect him, Rob. I was not shocked after hearing that and then putting that in a box and saying, man, you don't think that had anything to do with his play? I would say it definitely did, Rob.
It absolutely did. You got to socialize. I mean, when you're in college, if you're a football player, you're a quote student athlete, your classmates should know you. I used to go up to Sewell Hall at Auburn and study with all those guys. Man, they had to believe me. They were held. Everybody back then, Ben, you were held accountable. Now, since the virus, another thing that really bugs you, all this everything curbside pickup. Get your ass out and go get it. I park in there intentionally. When they say something to me, I go,
"Get off my lawn."
Yeah. But my lawn. My thing is though, like I listen to a lot of guys. I think Stephen A. Smith's very smart. His story is really cool. But I think it's neat when, Ben, you talk about guys with a lot of Super Bowl rings.
Well, I'm just saying.
But if they're talking about their career, that's great and all. But you have a lot of credibility, whether you play D1, 2, 3. You were in that fight. And I have respect. Like I said, we've had interns from Rhodes College in Memphis work on the trading floor for years. Every one of them gets a job offer because they come in going, I played football at Rhodes, but it wasn't like I played at Tennessee or Florida. I've got to prove myself. They come in with a chip on their shoulder, which is a good thing. You like them hungry. You get a kid like your nephew's playing at Kennesaw State. If he's around a bunch of SEC people, he's going to up his game. Who knows how long he'll stay at Kennesaw State? He's got your DNA. He could be at Georgia Tech or Georgia.
Keep his narrow behind right there, Kennesaw.
Well, I'm just saying, but he's got a sounding board to talk to you. He can go talk to his Uncle Ben. Say, hey, man, but your story, I think it's really cool because of as young as you were, and then you had 3 other kids in your neighborhood. 3 in your neighborhood you grew up with that played SEC football. I can't say that. I don't mean people can say that, period. But when you speak with a lot of authority and credibility, and people are going to listen to what you say, like they are Loren too. Again, D1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter.
Here's the thing about
you've been
D3
there.
football,
But
and I'm gonna let Brennan go ahead. Let me get this.
well,
in,
I just
Brennan,
want
and
to.
I'll
I'm
come
trying to
Go
get
ahead.
this. Well, you asked a question, Rob. I love you, but you were very specific, and I wanted to hear like Ben's answer upon. Like I wanted to hear Ben answer about that as well. What you're talking
Well,
about?
yeah, I'm getting ready to go
with
there.
Lagway. Yeah. So I'm not to derail you, but I love you. I just wanted to hear.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's our
Yeah.
ADD sports. I want to hear like what he was talking about Lagway. Go ahead, reframe your conversation. I was interested. I would like to
Go ahead, Ben.
Or by DJ Lagway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Being
say this
affected.
I would say this about DJ Lagway.
Or just being well, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt, but you had framed it very specific, Loren, and I just was like, as far as being affected, how that would have an effect, the culture, the not being able to do certain things, that kind of. Sorry, Ben, I just want to hear your answer,
and I want to say
I'm
that
just trying
too.
to be thoughtful,
right? No, and I hear that too. That's what, and I'm saying in the vein of this, you're being told this is how you have to operate. And Ben, I mean, go ahead, Ben.
No, that's how it goes though. That's 85% of college. You really think a lot of these players will be doing the things they're doing if they ain't getting directed by these position coaches, offensive coordinators. DJ Lagway was a unicorn. DJ Lagway is he was the most famous football player in the state of Florida. That's taking nothing away from Tua, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence. They weren't more famous than him. And that's the thing about being the starting quarterback. But let me tell you what I think DJ Lagway really did. DJ Lagway felt an obligation to tell future Florida Gator quarterbacks, listen, be careful now, because when you go to that, that's a juggernaut. And the same people that told DJ Lagway to do all this stuff are the same people that's not protecting him now. I don't like that. Because that youngin wanting to go on campus. Hey, man, they'll say, we think you should do online. Like he's going to say no. When his position coach said it, offensive coordinator said it, Billy Napier said it. And here's the thing. When people say, well, his teammates didn't like him, I don't like that. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? I had teammates I didn't like. His teammates didn't like me. That's not a headline.
That's normal.
So you like every co-worker.
Offense don't like defense.
No. I'm just saying, DJ Lagway didn't make it at the University of Florida. When I came out in 2000, Brock Berlin was the number one quarterback in the country. He didn't make it in Florida. Ain't nobody go crazy when he transferred to Miami. Some guys don't make it. I think for DJ, though, because of how well he played as a true freshman, and people thought he wasn't going to play well as a sophomore. From the bowl game, the next time he put on pads was in the fall. He didn't play football that long, and you got to go out. Everybody, you know how it is, Loren. Everybody's ready for the regular season. When the real bullet's about to be thrown. So for me, I appreciate DJ Lagway for saying, look, let me try my best to put this to bed. I'm at Baylor now, but I got to say something. And when he did, he wasn't built for it. Not true. He's making excuses. Not true. Billy Napier did not have enough cachet and enough, stripes on the wall to pull him. That's what I couldn't pull him. DJ Lagway was bigger than Billy Napier. He couldn't pull him. And for DJ, the same DJ Lagway that went out there in the spring putting on his full uniform, no, he can't practice. That's what he was willing to do for Billy Napier and Florida. And so I'm always going to protect players for this reason. It's, you know how it is, Loren. It's extremely difficult to play in college. Forget a scholarship. You got to make it on the field to play.
Forget being DJ Lagway on top of it.
Well, yeah, and that's right.
His dad came out and said some stuff. Look,
once again, the adults.
That's the part about this business that get on my nerves too. To all you Instagram, Snapchat, X warriors with this 270 characters, y'all gonna have a lot to say. And granted, it is your right to say it. But you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm not gonna say names. But if you are a former Florida Gator and you got information and you're trying to get clicks, shame on you too. Because you shouldn't do that. I know that just because I'm a has-been, when I say something about Florida, it means something. So I got to be I don't have to be careful with what I say, but I'm cautious with what I say. And I'm never coming at no player. For what? What am I going to come at a player for? I'm not doing that.
Well, you and I have had that private discussion, and that's another level that, like I said, I'm going to stay away from it. But I mean, I was just, when that happened, you were the first person I called because you played with that person. I was like, what, why, what, and how? But going back to, and I don't want to even make this about DJ Lagway. It was a comment. I wanted to bring it up on the show because it's amazing that people don't. We want the kids to grow up and we want them to act like and be like adults and things like that. But they're looking for guidance, Rob. They're looking for people to put them in positions. And the only reason that young man was not out in the mid, if we want to talk about it, he took on the persona of his head coach. His head coach wasn't outside. His head coach wasn't accessible. And I'm not saying DJ wasn't accessible because I saw him all the time in softball. And he was around his teammates and things like that. So it wasn't like, with his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, whatever. All of those things. But the fact that young man felt separated is the fact that you, when times got tough, did not encourage him to embrace the people that he was going to go to war with. That was simple. Now we can flip this. We can flip the script and say, okay, Sumrall is totally different from that. Maybe he has those guys engaging. Aaron Philo, Tremel, Will from down in Tampa. Maybe he has those guys engaging and being one of the guys and things like that. He's a sit down with you, eat a hot dog kind of guy. And I don't know why DJ Lagway said that. And maybe it was a way to take a shot and maybe save some face. But at the end of the day, like I said, I blame the adults again because that's where that guidance comes in. And no matter whether they're making money, no matter whether they're getting paid, Rob, we still have to continue to put these young men and young women in a position. There's a couple athletes on campus. I have said, you have to change. There has to be some guidance for them to change their attitudes. And then I think in turn, it reflects their play and the effect they have on others who may not be as gifted as they are. But like Ben said, you need to win championships.
Well, they're student athletes, they should be part of the student body. And that's what you're right. The adults have screwed all this stuff up because the athletes wouldn't be doing this if the adults didn't let it happen. And, I will say, DJ Lagway, he's from Texas. He grew up an hour maybe from College Station. Now he's going to be at Baylor. He'll be in the Big 12. That is an offensive quarterbacks league. He better pull out of the driveway doing about 95. He's going to have to be ready to go right away. And he had his moments at Florida, but you're right. Billy Napier was quiet, low energy. He won a lot at Louisiana, but not at Florida. He didn't embrace Gator Nation. And I think coaches are going to learn. Oh, yeah. Players are going to come and go. No problem. And they're going to leave with NIL, the portal, and all that. Coaches can get a lot longer. They can get a few extra years if the fan base loves them. But Ben alluded to it a minute ago. The clickbait people out there, they got to have something every day for people to jump on. It's like a chef. What's the special today? You got to do it. And I think DJ, Philo's got his guy, Buster Faulkner, going to be coaching him. And, he's going to be comfortable in the system that he runs. But Ben's right. You're the quarterback at Florida. You're the most well-known athlete in the state. And now Tua's gone to the Falcons. And Ben, hopefully you won't die, but one day he could be a pallbearer. Could let you down one last time. You always talk about the Falcons.
This is a family show, Rob. We're trying to keep this thing on the upbeat, on the uptick. And I knew the Falcons was going to get Tua because people think the worst front office in football is the Browns. No,
it's the Falcons.
It's the Falcons. It's the Hawks.
Ever since they got rid of Dimitrov, they ain't been right since.
It's the Hawks, Loren. And what if I told you in a far off place?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Drafted Luka Doncic, and they traded him
go.
Wait a minute. Yeah. They did do that. They literally.
And then they traded Trae Young to the Bullets. So, but real quick, I still call them the Bullets. They're the Wizards. Wow, you tell them my age. But let's pay some bills real quick and talk about our sponsors, the good folks at Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Proven and skilled lawyers since 1971. Still doing a lot of great things in the community, ticket giveaways, always involved at every sporting event. The Meldons are a fixture at almost every Gator event, not really even sports, just everything, but always give you an opportunity to win some tickets, win some cool experiences. Like I said, I was able to give out the game ball with the Meldons last year when we played Texas last season. My wife and I really had a great time. Always enjoy seeing them. But ultimately, they're a law firm that can fit your accident, legal needs. But if you don't have that going on, they can also point you in the right direction to somebody that can help you. Offices up and down Florida, from Lake City down to South Florida. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We won't back down. And the good folks at Titan MRI and Imaging, Titan MRI and Imaging has 3 locations, 2 in Gainesville, 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. No insurance, no problem. They have self-pay options. They got everything from large MRI machines for comfort, CT scans, x-rays, quick imaging needs. If you need something quick to get something else done, they're really good at getting you in. Titan MRI and Imaging, not really anymore. There's a fixture now coming to Ocala soon. So there'll be Ocala's newest independent MRI facility. Joe Calorio doing a great job there, coming back to Titan MRI and Imaging, really involved with the softball program and what they got going on there. But Titan MRI and Imaging, it's your choice. And with that, bringing it back, Rob, just for you. Ooh, you see the heat, Ben?
All these
you
shoes?
see the heat. You see the heat, Ben? You see the heat. Kicks of the week. The Jordan 1s with the patent leather. Yeah, so that's the, what's that?
That ain't a size 14.
No, not size 14 at all. But yeah.
Right. You know, Loren and people. I always say, man, what connects me and Loren outside of Florida? I say, man, check the footwork.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
How young is out there?
When I say, you got to think, when you put yourself out there and say you got the best shoe game in the Gator media, you got to stand by it. You know?
I mean, that's nasty work you just put on that screen. That's some nasty work. Is the tongue patent leather?
No, the tongue ain't patent leather. The tongue ain't. But it's the gum bottom for me.
I'm about to say bubble gum, but man, stop. Hold on. So Loren, it looks like you walk in places and just stop to see who really a sneakerhead to go, hey yo, I see you, like I'm just, just something light. This something light right here. That's
right. Yeah. I mean, that's the, I put it out there because, like I said, I don't have a contract. I'm trying to get one. That's we StockX, somebody holler at us. We trying to get on with the sponsorship. But who got me into the 1s? And like I said, my girl Kelly Ray Finley. I wasn't a big 1s person until Kelly Ray, really started killing the game with the shoe game, and she got me on the 1s. So definitely appreciate her for that. But what's up, Lucas? What's happening?
Not much. I have forces that have gum bottoms too. So it's
okay. All right. You have to come with it.
But, Lucas, turn down your microphone. Come on, turn it down.
So, real quick though, I want to just switch gears and it's beautiful. Not a lot going on. I don't want to talk about the Final Four because our teams ain't in it. But shout out to the teams that made the Final Four, but I'm still mad, so I'm going to leave it at that. I think Arizona's going to win the whole thing. I picked them at the beginning of the tournament, unfortunately, but I saw Ty Golden the other day, and I wanted to get at him, but I just said, how you doing, Coach? Good to see you. I'm going to keep stepping. But anyway, I want to get into something real quick and put everybody in the mix. And Lucas, since you the young guy, I saw an interview with Michael Jordan the other day, and they always ask Michael Jordan, do you think you're the greatest? And it's always interesting for someone who I think is extremely arrogant. He always says that he's not the greatest. But I do want to go in this forum a little bit and talk about who we think, all of us see a lot of sports, watch a lot of sports, who is the greatest? And can you compare eras? Mike always says, I didn't play against LeBron. I didn't play against Oscar Robertson. I played against Kareem late in his career. But Rob, I mean, when we talk about, is it fair to really say that we got to pick a greatest,
No,
a GOAT?
it's hard to do, but it's all relative. You look at a team of the century, you go back 100 years. I was thinking about this, in the SEC football, the three greatest backs I've ever seen are Herschel, Bo, and Darren McFadden. I mean, there's just those three, and there's not been anybody else. So it's hard to pick a GOAT because it's based on the age people have. But I'll say this about Michael Jordan. He's a great story because he got cut when he was in 9th or 10th grade, didn't make the team, came back out. I think he's the greatest competitor in the history of sports. That's just my opinion. And by the way, do you ever wear those shoes ever out in public?
Yeah,
Or they always
he can't let it go, bro.
I wear 'em. Yeah, Brendan's seen it. Yeah,
I mean,
wear
they're
'em.
awesome. I do
wear
love
'em.
them. They're good looking shoes.
But I wear a lot of dump trucks too because I don't want to get those messed up. Lucas,
that's just my take on the
Real sneakerhead right there.
Lucas, you could look at this two ways. Who's you've been new to the game. Who is your GOAT? And give me a GOAT. Give me your GOAT for football and basketball and why. When you talk about GOAT,
We doing professional or college?
professional.
Just the
Okay.
GOAT.
Football.
Yeah, GOAT.
Just the
football's Tom
GOAT.
Brady. No
Who's your
question.
GOAT, bro? Like, GOAT. It doesn't have to be professional or not. He's your GOAT.
I think the most talented quarterback I ever watched, Aaron Rodgers, by far.
There you go.
Okay.
Accolades-wise, Tom Brady.
Alien.
That's the GOAT.
Okay, and you going on accolades only.
Yeah, I think because he has the resume, you got to say Tom Brady. Like,
Okay, so then would you say LeBron James is the greatest based on resume?
I would say what he has done recently, yes, because longevity. You gotta longevity, and then what he's done this past month is much different than he's done in his whole career in the NBA. He's averaging 18. I watched it this morning on first take. He's averaging 18 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, and that's only 5 players this season that's averaging that. So the fact that he's doing it at that age and then taking a diminished role with Luka now as MVP candidate, which I think he should win, but I don't think he's going to win. But that's a topic for another day.
We'll get there.
But yeah,
Brendan, you've seen a lot of guys. I mean, let's talk Florida. I say the best player ever to play at Florida is Percy Harvin. But the greatest player to play at Florida, I would say, would be Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
You've seen them all.
Uh,
And is that fair to even
Give me a sec. Go to somebody else.
Ben?
Sorry, go ahead. You caught me. I was trying to get my commercial did up there.
Who the greatest basketball player is?
Yeah, go ahead.
The
No,
greatest basketball player to me is not debatable. I think the greatest basketball player is Kareem, because Kareem 6 times, was an NBA champ. Number 33 retired by Milwaukee. Number 33 retired by the Lakers, right? I think he won like 6 MVPs. He like 2 Finals MVPs. He won 3 straight championships at UCLA, right? 3-time Naismith Player of the Year. Retired his jersey. He was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. He was the best player in the NBA. LeBron broke whose record? Kareem. How many championships Mike got? 6. How many Kareem got? 6. There is nothing Kareem, and he had the most dominant move in basketball. It's not cute. Look, I love LeBron. I love Mike. I love Kobe. But here's the thing, right? Name something that Kareem did that nobody else did. There's too many things to name. Mike was in college. Was Kareem better than Mike in college? Yep. Mike was in high school. Was Kareem better than Mike in high school? Yep. And it's debatable when you get to the NBA, but here, Mike had 6, Kareem had 6, right? Mike won 6 MVPs, Kareem had 6. Now, Mike never lost in the finals, but when's the last time Michael Jordan was in the finals and his team wasn't the favorite? I'll wait. He was the favorite every single year. He got the Lakers when they was old. Joe Dumars and company, they had got old with the Detroit Pistons, right? And he had to play Karl Malone when Karl Malone had hair. No. I love Mike, but I think the greatest for me is Kareem. And when you talk about the greatest player to ever come through Florida is Tim Tebow. It's not even debatable. I think the best player to come through Florida to me is Shane Matthews. he might be the best when you look at what he did. Because Shane is the reason why Shane birthed a whole new era in college football with the fun and gun. I think Danny Warford took it to another level, but Shane started it. Shane resume without a Shane. With that, then you get Danny, then you get Rex, then you get, Chris Lee, then you get Tim Tebow, and list goes on. I think Shane is not talked about enough. Shane was nowhere. Shane, they had to write his name on the depth chart because he wasn't even on it. They had to write it in, and you look at what he's up doing. But Percy, it's hard for me to put anybody over him, but I would go Shane best, Tim Tebow the greatest, and Rex Grossman should have a statue as a Heisman as well. That's saying.
All right, Brendan. So you can't. I see you
He's
can't
my
pick for
goat.
your
That's
two
my
favorite.
goat. I grew up as this guy was the goat for me right here. This is the guy right here.
Shout
Johnny
out to John
Ballgame.
Elway, man. I like Elway.
Johnny freaking Ballgame, dude. I caddied for him many times. This guy is, I mean, dude, there's nobody tougher on the planet freaking Earth, dude, than Johnny Ballgame.
Yeah, and Ben, I agree with Brendan. That's a great one. And
durability makes him the GOAT for me. That guy just couldn't. I mean, he was pigeon-toed, bro. Pigeon-toed. Pigeon-toed. He hurt people in the back of his head. And he just moved like on one toe.
Did
Ben,
you
thing about Kareem?
Give me your Gator goat, Brendan.
Huh?
Give me your Gator goat. You pointed at two different people.
Harvin. I interviewed Percy Harvin because I interviewed him on Pro Day, and his last day in the swamp, I have an interview with him. I was a very young guy, and I sat there, and he's only me and Percy in the swamp, and he talked about how he would play college football '99 or whatever game it was hot on whatever game. I forget what it was, college football '99. Because I used to play that. Yeah, I just hit reset if I didn't win every time. Like he sat there taking his cleats off. He was taking forever. I thought hands down. I mean, maybe the greatest college athlete I've ever seen. But yeah, Percy. I got to see him from the field. I got to follow them that whole every game. I shot camera. I mean, I got Percy Harvin did some things that I can't even.
When we lived in Ohio, me and Marcia used to to this day. She's like,
I can't even explain it.
That's our son. We used to call Percy Harvin our son. So that was, that was the gift. But Rob, who you got on the show tomorrow?
Man, Ben, you're gonna make me have nightmares tonight. Kareem, you're right. I still have his trading card from the Milwaukee Bucks. Lou Alcindor from Brooklyn, New York.
Our high
school, college, and NBA. Ben, hell of a point. And Brendan, God, I loved Elway because, man, he was on a 4-7 crap team at Stanford. His dad, Jack, was his coach.
Dude.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And
Sammy Winder was in your backfield, bro.
Yeah, Sammy Winder from Southern Miss,
man. He had nothing, bro.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, we got Jason Caldwell on tomorrow morning, Auburn Undercover. Wes Neighbors, former Alabama football player, covering the Tide. Dudley Dawson, Inside Arkansas. Vince Ferrara, the sports animal in Knoxville. Damn, Ben. I'm gonna have to. I'm going with Ben. I had my 5'9". I used to play the hook like that because of Kareem. I reversed my decision. I go with Ben.
I still owe Lucas. I got 12 good ones for Lucas.
Who are they talking about?
Ben, who we got on 84 Reasons?
Man, was blessed enough to sit down with the head coach, Coach Sumrall. Got him coming up, man. He was blessed. He blessed me to come on 84 Reasons. Former teammate of mine, Trey Orr, the pride and joy of Lake City. He went from being the pride and joy of Lake City. Now he gets to work for the University of Florida. Yeah, man. Got former teammates and current head coach, man. Gonna be blessed in the airways on 84 Reasons.
And Lucas, journalism school at Florida coming up. Any word on that yet?
I got 1 to 2 more weeks.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to you, man. We be rooting for you for sure. Look forward to seeing you on WRUF. They're going to give you that morning shift like they gave Laura Rutledge, but hang in there. You'll be a star for sure.
That's my girl right there, bro.
Yeah. Brendan's pride and joy. But appreciate you guys, man. Definitely appreciate everybody coming on. Great dialogue. When I started this show, that's the kind of discussion I wanted to have. It's kind of lull right now in the season. Got spring game a couple weeks ago. Had some heavy hitters on here talking about some heavy stuff. So really
That was
appreciate
fun.
it, guys.
Thank you for letting me be on.
Absolutely. Hit that theme music,
I gotta
and
start
we see you
bringing my
next
food.
week. Recording live from somewhere. See you guys later.
Good
Good night,
everybody.
John Boy.
Good night.
Hey.
Say it proud, make 'em feel it. Who you with? Gators. Say it proud. Make 'em feel that. Shake the whole crowd. Orange, blue, Gators breaking through. Swamp roll loud, that's what we do. Chomp, chomp, bite down there through. Whole crowd shaking when we aim at you.